it's very much a question of imagination and musical fantasy, how you interpret music. Of course, we take a score and we analyze it, but there is much more to it. And in musical terms, there are layers of sound in the night music. But I couldn't interpret it without associations. And what are my associations? Well, they are not abstract, not in this piece, because this countryside, of course, not in 1926. I cannot even imagine how a Hungarian village was before electricity and before modern times. But you can use your imagination. It's even all the senses play a role. I even smell something. The smell is very important with all these animals, and it's not music from the city. And there are different approaches to music, but I'm not ashamed to admit that I am very associative. And this also came from my lessons with Kurtag, because he always spoke in metaphors. He always said, this is like this, it's like, also musical analogies. He says, this is like Bluebeard's castle, this is like the Wooden Prince, this is like the Fifth String Quartet. And when we were very young and then we didn't know those pieces, we felt terrible. I felt very ashamed, and I was rushing to the library and got those scores, and I had to get to know them. But it's also it's general associations. Whether we talked about the Debussy preludes, and the titles of the Debussy preludes came very often after he had written the piece. But even then, sometimes there is a poem by Baudelaire, by Verlaine that you associate it with. Also with Bartók, we have a very great Hungarian poet, symbolist poet, Endre Ady, who is very much like a Hungarian Baudelaire. Spent also a lot of years in Paris. And Bartók set also several songs of Endre Ady to music. And there are also in those poems these noises in the night, and when you are trying to open an old door, that is something like that. It is painful to open that door. And that came into Bluebeard's castle with all those doors, and a couple of years later, here it is in the night music. And it's just a question of not just spending a lot of hours at the piano, but try to get inspiration from everywhere, from nature, from literature, from architecture, from the visual arts. And we have to live a full life to try to get closer and closer and deeper into it. But you can never get to the bottom of it because it's so deep.